I can.
I mashed the record button. So, here we go. We're going to do this. We're going to have some fun. Are you? Wake the farm up. Hey, wake the farm up. Hey, everybody. What's up, Lou? We're down with Lindy Kehoe, artist, musician, Faere. Check her out, www.lindykehoe.com. Check it out in the show footnotes. I'm impressed. I'm super stoked. I've seen my friend here. We, just reconnected again and verbal contact and communications recently again. But I know over the years I've seen her put out some artwork that I've seen her, creating and mastering over time and connection with it and the process of it. Seen her with Last Wild, with Starhawk, seen it with WeMoon. I kept seeing these WeMoons coming out, and I'd be looking at somebody's calendar and just be like, oh, okay, we got something cool here going on. This is my friend's artwork in your calendar over here, homie. And they'd be like, what? And, it's just like, there's the art inspired by this magic. I even remember this music group, you were putting out music with serendipity, and that's a strong word in Lindy's lingo, so she's into live painting at festivals and other events. She does commissions, art shows, and so many things. It's like she's been on the Chris Dyer show recently. For me, it's cool. Lou introduced me to the Chris Dyer show. I've been intrigued by that. There's a little ding, ding, ding. And, we got messages coming through. So what else is going on, Lou? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Wake the Farm Up. Everybody's so excited here right now. It's, whoa.
Wow. Thank you for that awesome introduction. That was elf-tastic.
Yeah. One thing, just to cruise into this, I really, love journeying with music and love this concept. It's something that Lindy and I have talked about here more recently. And, as we're doing it, we're going to introduce in the background here. I want to shout out to our boy Curtis too of Kalpataru. And this is an album that he did with Luminosophy with Lindy as the artwork. Her artwork is on the front of it. It's really beautiful. We're going to cut just right into some of the sounds here. So welcome Curtis and Kalpataru to the, Wake the Farm Up show as well. We appreciate you so much. Farm Up. How you doing, Lindy?
Oh, hi.
I get excited at the beginning of these things, I just want our audience to be right there with us, so, they're excited.
I love it.
I'm excited to, share with you and talk with you and see where we go.
Yes. Well, I just so appreciate you, Andy, and your true elfiness, from 2 decades ago, meeting you, and to what you've grown with your amazing connection with nature and ability to communicate with the elements. And it's just so inspiring. So I feel really honored to be on your show here, Wake the Farm Up. So yeah, it's so fun to reconnect and see, how our true essence as, how we met when we were in our young 20s, and we've blossomed into, just full-time elfiness. So it's awesome.
Yeah, the elves love you guys.
Oh yeah, that's the edit elves. They like to hang out with these devices and pop in and say stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like how you mentioned The Last Wild Witch, the book I did with Starhawk. That was such a deep honor. And in the permaculture world, Starhawk's been quite a forefront being to bring forth that information of how to function in a really good way with nature and abundantly. And so WeMoon actually met they've been publishing her writings in the books for decades and decades, and they, the women of WeMoon, were at one of Starhawk's permaculture gatherings, and Starhawk, and this was probably around 2009, and Starhawk gave them her manuscript, The Last Wild Witch, and said, hey, you know, I wrote this 18 years ago, and if you would like to publish it and find the illustrator, then let's do it. And so they called me and asked me if I was into it, and I was so deeply honored.
That's
I was
cool.
about 28 at the time. I was just like, wow, okay. And so
let's go.
I came up with some prototypes of the character, and the book is about. Have you read it, Andy?
I have not, but you know I'm going to, because like just that title itself says so much.
Yes, well, it's a beautiful story. It's about basically these children, like they wander off into the forest at night and to be with the last wild witch, who basically, she's just out there making herbs, soups, and just, you know, she's just one with nature, and they're just like, wow. And the adults are so upset about that relationship, and so they want to like burn the forest down. And so basically the children save the forest, and then the adults meet the witch, who they have, you know, feared or had judgment around, and then they realize, whoa, she's our sister. And it's a healing book around the stigma of the medicine woman and the connection of the very connected woman of nature, and how that stigma has kind of created such a rift in society and culture. And so Starhawk's been really instrumental in bridging that gap and reweaving that old knowledge and wisdom of medicine. So it was beautiful to illustrate that book and then meet Starhawk with the illustrations. And yeah, just really, really beautiful, really humble and wise elder.
Yeah, I'm going to be going into that one on the top notch of my books to be reading right now. It sounds like a fascinating story. Yeah. Thanks for not telling too much too.
Yeah.
No, just enough.
Absolutely.
And you've been creating some stories and publishing stories, huh? You got the Remind Me That I'm Wild. There you go. There's another title that says so much in one sentence, you know, like that's a little simple phrase that would be so nice to hear often, you know, just like, remind me that I'm wild. Like, hey, what's up, Lou? You're wild.
Hey, thanks for the reminder.
Right? Hey guys, you guys are both really wild. You Lou and Elfie face. You know, we're just happy that you guys like moss just as much as we do. Lindy, Lou, look at you. Look, Lindy, you've been drawing pictures of us for a long time. I know this elf is like, you know, seeing you creating these different images of us. So, how do you do it so well? I mean, how did you connect with that? So connect, like, you know, can you share with us?
That's a good question, Elves. I dig these elves popping in sometimes.
That is a good question. Yeah. Well, I think that there was this, you know, this deep place where I would go as a young person when I would spend time alone in nature, and especially when I became a teenager then, when I realized that I could regulate my nervous system when I sat in a tree or, you know, went into the forest, and that's where I started to see that the trees were actually our ancestors, and my art became that. And I'm still to this day drawing these tree beings, and a lot of my characters are like elementally inspired, part of nature. Their cloaks have landscapes inside them. There are hats or mountains. There's not a separation of the human, the animal, and the plant realms. So there's like this trinity that is occurring a lot. And so I think, and that's how I feel like the elven beings to be, this seamless connection to the elemental beings, or being an elemental itself. And so my art is that, you know, just drawing in on that connection that is inherent in this existence, in this realm, and the magic and the preciousness and sweetness of that unified presence of nature.
Wake the farm up. Yeah. Love that. You are wild.
You wild.
That's wild. You know, that was brilliant flow. That's like what Wake the Farm Up's all about. Like, your connection with nature and sharing about it, you know, it's deep. It's rooted in, like, so many experiences and connections and messages. And, yeah, thanks for sharing that poetry flow. I'm trying to keep up with my notes, but I just, like, dropped my pen down and was listening, you know?
Because you wild.
Because I'm wild. I'm over here like a little squirrel eating up this little poetry flow coming in like a little... Like, oh, man.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, you know, because it's like, how does our work kind of spin off of just our true essence? And so that, like, young person within me that was always drawing and then hanging out in a tree, and how now in my life, like decades later, I'm still in the state of play and in that, like, sense of wonder of not quite sure what is being kind of spiraled out of my pen. And so I just thought it'd be fun to talk about that, like, process with you a little bit, about how I kind of bring forth these beings and kind of learn their story through that playfulness of not knowing, like they call it the no mind. And so, would you like to hear about that?
Please, like, the process. And, you know, like, I'm curious, as you are ready, you know, with the quest of questions, like this concept of the process even, and knowing there's different ways in which you are creating, like at a live music festival when there's music and all this energy around you. Is there a different kind of process? Is it similar as to when, say, somebody gives you a commission with a certain direction of feel into it? So yeah, I'm really curious. You know, I see a lot of curious, you know, faces around, so yeah, please indulge. Like, well, I'm slicing into it like a big slab.
The pictorial a long time ago, like the picture oracle, and trusting the oracle that comes out of that space where we open up to our to that source connection, however we're connected to the heart flow. And that's where I feel like my art comes from, that place of the deepest love that I have, and so it's like that spring to tap into. And so when I'm doing any kind of work, like when I'm sitting down and I'm just going to draw something for my own creation, like this isn't for a commission, this isn't for a festival, it's really the same process of just being open, setting intention of, you know, creating from that heart space, and trusting the oracle to reveal something that is wanting to be shared. And I've learned from this way that I create that even if I'm just creating something for myself and for my own just playful curiosity, and I bring it all the way through, like I start with a pen on a paper and like make maybe a little watercolor, or like it's like in my sketchbook, And if it feels like it's like pulsing with some aliveness, I can feel almost like a presence of this character, then I take it to the canvas. And so sometimes that's for somebody. The intention is for a festival that I'm going to paint this being at. And then I learn from that through serendipity, there's, people are almost like, wow, you painted me. How did, like this element and this element, and I have this connection with this. And so oftentimes there's
Wow.
this, like, I've learned like there's a stream of the unified field.
Yeah, like
And so in the archetypes and in the kind of mystical symbologies, we can relate to the pieces of ourselves. And so I trust that when I'm really feeling it with a certain character, that this is going to be medicine for many other people. And that's my intention.
That's really cool. It's like oracles upon oracles. And that makes sense, like I've talked on this show about, like there's tarot card readings and things like that, kind of consult the oracle. But there's also things like seeing the shape of something on a leaf while you're walking through the forest, and that shape invokes a certain thought. That's an oracle coming from the leaf just the same, it's like telling you something. And, that, leaf like shaped itself that way, that fungus on the leaf shaped itself that way, with like the oracles that it was receiving in its existence. It was receiving and doing its dance and creating this image on the leaf. And then all of a sudden you come walking by and, see this little image on the leaf, and it like says something about some action and flow in which it inspires you to flow in. And it's all interconnected in so many ways. And then you go and create a painting, in your case here. And, in this painting, somebody's able to see that and take home a print and like have this connection because they see something in that moves them and creates a certain oracle effect in their life. And then it goes on from there, all the way to, stirring the butterflies to flap their wings just right so that it creates this leaf imprint for me, like all the way over here on the other side of the country.
Yeah. Well, I love that you brought that up because I see faces in tree bark all the time. And I'm sure many people do, and so like the images and leaves and the ability to be able to decipher and see and then take those as symbols and signs. And so I think that absolutely, if we are able to read the signs of synchronicity and being able to decipher them within our own lives, that's such a gift to be able to have that.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like there's a lot of pattern recognition that, has been explored. Like there's the doctrine of signatures in herbal studies where the idea is that something that's in a certain shape in nature or pattern will have some similar effect or benefit for a body organ that's in a similar shape, or different things like that. Like a walnut, for example, the oils of walnut's really good for our brain. And,
right.
It just makes sense. Like, okay, they look like little brains, like little squirrel brains.
Totally.
And, so there's like beyond that, even has been explored this whole concept of branding and, where you can look at like a shape or an image, and it could be even like in sacred, religious symbols or different things, they're meant to be looked at and to tell a story. And then you have letters and written word, and it's like conveying images and messages and feels. And, it's fascinating though, like how in nature you can really see a shape, and it's outside of a lot of written history and all that, so a certain shape might make you have your own feel, but if you put like a certain brand to it, all of a sudden when you see that shape, that's what it means. And
I love
I don't know,
that.
it's
I
just
love
like,
that.
I feel like you explore a lot of like freedom outside of that, being able to, explore and see these, as people are seeing oracles in a painting, or, I use that word oracle very freely. Maybe there's other words that, are similar that people would, use to describe how they feel even better. But, when people get this feel, and connect with it, and it's like almost like they can walk past it. I do have a few Lindy Kehoe pieces hanging up in my house here. One of them's a sticker. It's a really beautiful little creature, like little sweet being that just like looks at you, as you walk by. And it's a sweet feel. So
Yeah. Well, just along that, when you were talking about the walnut and the brain and how like nature reflects like our bodies, and how then symbols that, like that are passed down through different cultures are actually like maps of the cosmos. And it's like the micro macro, and it's how we're all interconnected. And it's so magical to be able to decode it all. And yeah, it's like we like leave little maps for our ancestors, or like our future ancestors.
Yeah, little codes to tell certain parts of stories, so the stories can be remembered, and so that new stories can be made in new ways, and to help guide us in the land of the living.
That's right.
For all of us, it's our first time here, I guess. Or maybe
yeah,
not.
We could use all the help we could get.
Yeah. What do I do?
Yeah.
How do I make this button work?
Well, you did a good job figuring it all out.
Yeah, it's it just takes time figuring out little things and new things, and sometimes it takes a lot of failures to have things work just right.
Well, I love how you figured out how you can drink from a grapevine. It's so cool. It's so magical.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. How did you learn that?
Well, we're here in the Ohio River Valley. Wild grapes often are climbing up trees and strangling trees. So a lot of times in forest management, people ask to have the grapevines cut. And sometimes I do that in, other places and recommend it as well. It's, it just depends, pruning grapes is like not going to really hurt the plant's feelings that much. People have been like pruning and working and interacting with them like that for a long time, which makes sense why they would spit out like, a gallon potentially of just amazing electrolyte rich water. It really straight up tastes like young coconut.
How did you know that it was electrolyte water? Like, did somebody tell you, or did the plant tell you that?
Both. I mean, originally the plant told me that when I was out hot, sweaty, working, and there was water dripping out of it. And I was like, this is a grapevine. It's probably okay. And I tried it and it was good. And then I went and looked it up and tried, with a lot of these things, I cross-reference and try to find, I go deep into it and try to figure out what it is. And then just throw it into your head and catalog it. Grapes grow all the way around the world. So there's certain cool plants like that are fun to like learn about their whole thing,
Yeah.
Like how many parts of the banana tree do people eat? I think almost every part of it.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think that, trees are such amazing medicine that a lot of people don't even... Like the cedar and like the bark, and just learning about how the people were so deeply connected to the tree beings. And so like to see people continue to have that knowledge is really beautiful. And I just heard yesterday someone talking about how the heart of the tree is where the ground, it connects with the trunk and the roots. Have you heard that before? And there's like almost like a pulsing heartbeat there.
I like that. I don't know if I've like heard perhaps a pulsing heartbeat, but I've often thought, in our poetic terms, through all the different revolutions humans have had, we've used a lot of things of like go to our grassroots, or, go back to our roots, or, branch out, do something new, and all the different things, like not often do you hear people just be like, hey, you got to get your trunk on. And, that just like straight up means like, get your balance of roots and branches, yo.
Yeah. Right?
Get your trunk on. Sounds like one of my old elephant jokes. I probably used to tell you elephant jokes, huh?
That's so interesting because I was totally, when you were talking about the, just that connection of nature and all the symbols and stuff, I was totally thinking about the elephant and how, like, the elephant, and how elephants can communicate through the ground. Have you heard that? Like thousands of miles or hundreds of miles through their feet, like they can communicate to each other. So they have this like connection, like this language through vibration, through the earth, like no other species, which is so amazing to me.
Wow. Just like the way they stomp their feet, like, can create a certain pulse in the ground that they can detect with those giant ears.
Yeah, exactly.
Or is it like something they feel from their feet?
Right. I don't know.
Both.
But
it's like good food. It has wonderful taste, but also a wonderful aroma. It's like multi-sense, that takes it and makes it like really, so you really sense it, It's like maybe that's what they're doing. It's like they're feeling the
maybe
bass.
There's like trees that walk around, like elephant trunks, like they're somehow they're like rooted through sonic waves that travel through the earth.
Yeah. Or maybe like Horton really did hear who's, but the who's have really good communication set up so they can like transfer like messages from other who's, that pick up the bass. It's like they're basically
turn up the bass.
They're basically just announcing different festivals for the who's. And that like, they jump on the backs of elephants, if they're trying to get them to move somewhere to where there's a really good, a good sad party, whatever they want to do. There's different feels that I'm sure elephants go through every day.
Right? I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you made images of elephants and animals and stuff that are like, is that like a thing?
Oh yeah. I've painted elephants more times than not. They're one of my special animals. Elephants and whales. I feel like the whales are the elephants of the ocean. And they too, they've got the song lines, and they say that they're the keepers of the story of the world. And so both elephants and whales are just so ancient and gentle, and yeah, they're just super important to holding the story of time.
Wow.
And so yeah, they come in my paintings a lot. And in my book that I just wrote, it's called The Arrival of Uriel and Ariana. And elephant is Ariana's special. She's very connected to the elephant, actually. And Ariana is this elven girl. And she was like, in my story, she was like the first of the elves. And it was because she gave her words back to the universe so that she could speak to the elements. And she would hang out in this, where the elephants would come to pass, because there's this knowing that elephants will return to where their ancestors died. And so it's like kind of like elephant graveyards, is just these really special places. And so Ariana would go and be there when an elephant would come to pass. And she was almost like a hospice for the elephants, and they would lay down, and she would curl up with them and sing to them. And as the elephant would pass, she would ride the spirit of the elephant through the Emerald Cove of All Things Remembered. And that's where she learned relearned the language of the universe. And so there's just like stories within stories. But for me, Ariana and the elephant they're just like, peas in a pod in a way.
Wow.
So the spirit of the elephant is in the book.
Wow, I want to see that book. Like, I'm like picturing it, and it's amazing because I know your art well, that I was like almost seeing like 3-dimensional animated versions of them.
Yes, that's the vision. One day to bring this fully to life. The book is kind of like a blueprint for this greater story. That's, for me, it's very alive. For like 20 some years now, I met these characters, Uriel and Ariana, and basically it's like heaven and earth. And just that, like, when I was on my walk today, that song, Joni Mitchell, gotta get back to the garden again. It's just like that Garden of Eden mythology of how this place was so connected, and our relationship with the animals wasn't broken at that time. And I love hearing old stories about how, like, in like First Nations cultures, that bear was part of the fire. Like, they would sit around the fire with the bear, and it wasn't like the bear and the people were, afraid of each other, but they sat together at the fire. And just love that vision, that image.
Yeah, I always like the idea people talk about different kind of animal whisperers. And I remember years ago talk about paintings, seeing a painting at the Idle George Museum in Indianapolis where there's maybe like 12 men standing around in a lodge around a fire, like a long house, so it was like local kind of like Ohio River Valley kind of pre-Columbian conception, I guess, of the image there. And these guys are standing around there. One of them has like a snake on his arm. And like the other one had like a little creature coming out of like one of his pouches. And, there was like another creature like outside the door. And, just my imagination kind of went into that, like that interconnectedness of nature, time, and human history when, some of us would be really allured to hanging out with salamanders and, have like salamander habitat next to where our, primary residence would be or something. And, just connecting with things in different ways where snakes and your interaction with them are different than most people in your tribe, but everybody accepts it and calls you the snake whisperer or whatever, and I think it's definitely something to, see and encourage. I love when I hear people talk about their connection to a crow or something. I've heard some amazing crow stories about the crows gathering things for them.
Yeah, I love the crows. Actually, do you know I was born in Indianapolis?
Oh, no, I didn't know that. I thought you were from the pits.
Yeah, I was born in Indianapolis, so my parents used to call me Lindy from Indy.
That's fun. Yeah.
Actually, they were at the Indy 500, and then my mom's water broke that night. So.
Oh, wow! Like after after race time.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
That's cool.
So, but we moved to my mom's family's from the Pittsburgh area. Pennsylvania for like lots and lots of generations. So I grew up there, but it was funny because my brother, I was only like 2 and then we left Indianapolis, but like 2 years ago, he was like driving through Indianapolis and he stopped at our like house and he knocked on the door of the people and he told them that like we lived there or whatever, like 30 some years or 40 years ago, and he asked if he could take a rock. So he picked me up a rock, and so I actually have it like sitting on my desk right now. This rock from Indianapolis.
That's special.
Isn't that special? It's like
indie
that
rock.
origin.
That's your indie rock. You know what I'm saying?
I got it. Yeah, that's right. Got the indie rock. And that's where you're at, right? Right now? You're in Indiana? No. Where are you? Indiana?
Yeah, I'm kind of southeast Indiana,
Okay.
fairly rural near Versailles State Park. It's a beautiful area, without the trees it'd probably look like New Mexico. There's a lot of flat land where the glaciers kind of pressed and then melted out into the Ohio, down the Laffery Creek, which is spelled Laffery. I kind of realized that recently. I've been soaking in this creek since I was 13, and so I've soaked in a lot of good laughing. It's a kind of creek where you'll see otters and bald eagles and beautiful things like that, and hopefully we get to see that for a long time.
Beautiful. Yeah, we've got eagles here. I'm on a river in the Rogue Valley, and yeah, so fortunate to see eagles. And you were talking
eagles.
about like the animals, like the animals of where you live and how they become part of kind of your own mythos. And we've got beavers that live here, which is so special. Have you seen the movie Beaver Believer?
I don't believe I have.
Oh, you got to see it. It's so
Beaver
good.
Believer.
Well, basically, the beavers are the keystone animal, which I had no idea, like how significant they are to, like that, just the whole of nature and creating these little habitats and how they bring water and how, just how crucial they are and how many people just think they're pesky pests, but they're just so important. So we're really stoked to have a whole family of beaver live in our backyard pretty much. So we've got this big spring-fed pond that's like full of such diverse wildlife. So it's really quite special.
Yeah, so you should be a believer. Hi, I'm one of the beavers that live out here with Lindy. It's pretty cool. Keep the water clean too, please. Make sure you filter it coming out of your house too, not just on the way in. Yeah, we'll be out here doing our work for y'all. Better be a beaver believer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I love that the beaver stepped up to the mic there.
That's right.
I believe in the beaver. I know one of the hardest things with them interacting with modern colonial thinking or Babylon thinking, however people want to call it these days, it's like a thinking where, like I'm going to put my fence here, this is my land, but they're a little bit more migratory and that nobody like has given them maps to show them where they're allowed to build dams and all the things. So they just go where they go and they drop trees where they drop trees and do their job. And make new wetlands places when people are like, I don't want my place to be a wetland, like get these beavers out of here. They're killing my trees. And, so it's an interesting process, but I know in a forest fire exploration of some of the bigger fires that were in Colorado several years ago, they identified that all the areas that didn't burn had beaver activity in them because they were able to have higher water tables and more humidity to prevent the fires from wanting to spread to those areas. So it's something to be said about, their work and their, keystone-ness. I'm a believer.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like more people need to know how important the beavers are because exactly what you're saying. They really do. They're key to this whole situation here on Earth. So
Thank you, guys. Much respect. I really like this show. Wake the farm up.
Oh, thanks, Guy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you guys respect the beavers, So something, I don't know, just to we've been, friends for a long time. And I know when we were hanging out, just so you guys know, this is an amazing artist here who puts herself into the ecosystem. And I know that from she was doing camping trips where we were hitchhiking around with me years ago. And there was a few of us that were traveling around. We just rake leaves together and sleep with tarps, out in the middle of the forest without cars or anything. And, just exploring the earth together in this whimsical free way, creating music and, that's, definitely something that you guys on this show know. I love music. So I'd love to get a moment to be able to talk about some of your music adventures. I definitely love your artwork, so go check out our footnotes and link and check out that, folks. There's some fun prints. You can get stuff, like all different kinds of things on our website, really. Definitely want to get this Arrival of Uriel and Ariana. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a copy of that.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. Yeah, and it was funny. Right when you were talking about our little elfie adventures a long time ago, remembering like camping in the woods and like there was like some random trash that we found. And do you remember we like built this like sculpture of like some like creature? Do you remember that?
I it's coming to me. Can you describe it? I mean, I feel like
it was, I don't know. I just remember building this like sculpture out of some random like car parts or trash that we found in the middle of the woods. I don't know. So
yeah,
we made something beautiful out of it for sure.
We were doing it for fun too, because we loved it, not because we were trying to get followers and likes on a picture or something. It was just like, yeah, let's do this. All right, let's go. That's right. That trash looks way better arranged into a creature.
That's right. We did our part. No, I'm sure we probably like scooped it up with us, and but yeah, music is such a big part of my life for sure. And I mean, when I was 9 years old, I came home with the flute. I don't even know how I got the flute. It was just like at school, you got to pick an instrument, and it was like remembering an old friend. And my dad was so excited. He like started playing Jethro Tull for me. He's like, you gotta learn this.
Oh, yeah.
So I was totally determined, and I taught myself, and the beginner book, and I was so into it. My parents got me private lessons, and my dad took me to see Jethro Tull, and so by the time I was in college, I was jamming and started jamming with different bands, and so it's always been a part of me, playing music and being able to have that language, to be able to, I feel like the flute is how I pray. It's like, it's just kind of my way of praying. It's just like letting go of thoughts and being able to just express from that space. And so, yeah, just stoked to, my closest friends in my life are all amazing musicians. And so I feel really grateful, like on my little phone with all my music, all my favorite music that I have are people that I love and that I know personally. So I feel so blessed to be able to have musicians in my life and be able to play music. And yeah, it's just such a special thing. And I know, Elf, that you and I share a lot of similar folks that we love.
Dude, I was thinking even about that. We like, just for like, just like a little fun, maybe share a couple that you find that you enjoy listening to that you'd love to share.
Well, we were talking yesterday when we were chatting about Athens County and just like our roots there, going to college there and whatnot. And then meeting Anthony from PapaDosio. I mean, way before he was in PapaDosio. But him and I met at a rainbow gathering in West Virginia, like way long time ago. And so
cool.
To see him playing on main stage at the country fair, which is where I've had a little art booth a few times over the last decade, and being like, whoa, this is amazing music. And his what do you call it? His solo project is called Earthcry, which is super awesome. It's like he explores kind of an analog digital realm. Very interesting. I think you would really love it. And we actually got together and I did a recording for one of his tracks.
Oh, you're on one of his
albums.
Cool. I want to
Yeah,
find
it's called
that.
Travel Itch, is the track. And I forget what the album's called, but it's
Mhm.
on Earthcry, one of Earthcry's albums.
Yeah, I'm
So that
excited
was
about
fun.
Earthcry. That sounds like something I want to check out. I love PapaDosio. I don't even know how many times I've seen them perform in different places, and I do remember when they were when I saw they were playing Red Rocks. It was one of those moments. I definitely had one of my eyebrows go up, like, nice, good job, guys. That's a moment. When a band gets to play
Yeah.
Red Rocks, like, I don't know, in the contemporary time period anyway. That's what's up.
That's right. Well, they're good people, and that is a testament of Athens County,
And
and
real
you
people
know,
making real stuff, and
that's
really
right.
being heard and seen and felt by the earth around us. The earth is crying for it.
Yes. So precious.
So one of the other concepts I know you've, like, in your contemporary, like, can you share with us some contemporary, like, what kind of stuff you're doing with music currently?
Well, ironically, I'm studying traditional Irish music. So, the opposite of contemporary. I'm just really diving into my roots, and just the Irish flute sound has always been so inspiring. And
Hmm.
my time in my very, very small time in Ireland, when I visited my brother in college, he was living there, and I was always just like, I want to learn the Irish flute. And so this past month, I'm just like, I'm going to learn it. So I've been studying old tunes. It just feels
Reels.
really good to just play these songs that have been played and played and played for hundreds of years.
Wow. I want to hear that. That sounds fascinating. And yeah, I got a lot of Irish connections. Definitely want to, follow up with that and see where that goes. That's, you know,
Yeah.
I can feel ambiance, like, just in my mind of traditional Irish songs when a flute gets going, and just like all of a sudden the mass ambient green landscape of Ireland starts floating through my head.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a mystical place for sure. It's special.
I mean,
So
with
yeah.
with a with I mean, that's like, with a traditional flute skill like that, you might be able to allure like 50 like Irish rock builders to show up somewhere and build a rock wall for you or something. I mean, that's like,
Whoa.
it. You gotta be
That's a good
careful.
goal to have. Wow. Yep.
So,
For sure. Well, you definitely have some leprechaun vibes. Now I'm seeing it. So, yeah.
I do.
Yeah, he does. He does. But you both do. I mean, there's little people all around the world, you know.
So true.
Yeah,
It is
they
so
all have
true.
different names,
Hmm.
and different cultural stories, and ways in which people interacted or tried to not interact.
Yeah, the elementals exist everywhere, and there's different names for them, for sure.
Yeah, just like different Yetis and Sasquatches, and you know, not just like it. Actually, it's a little bit different in its own way. Sasquatches are
Yes.
cool though. Yetis are
Yeah, I'm kind of in Sasquatch. I'm not too far from Sasquatch land here, Yeti land and Shasta. And
Yeah, Yetis are cooler.
hmm. Are they? Right, they are. Right, of course.
Yeah, I
You
wonder.
get it.
So, we were talking about journey music. We kind of I mentioned that earlier in this recording. So like journey music, and it's like that. I love that kind of concept. It's a concept you and I were discussing that kind of sums up, I guess, in a summary for me would be where people come together to have a conversation with music, and there's open, creative improv. Let's feel and, you know, ride the ups and downs of what this experience would be. And, you know, I want to hear like how that's been something that you've been exploring and a little bit, and like, I don't know, maybe even some of the process. You know, I love hearing your processes.
Well, I was sharing with you about how currently I'm in a music project. Is that what you were kind of asking about?
Yeah.
We're Journey Music, and yeah, it's just basically we come together, really close friends. We've been playing music for a decade with each other, and so we just get together every week, and it's like songs just create themselves, and it's a way of having these musical conversations that just continues to refine and in natural dynamics and sounds, and so it's really beautiful. I'm really looking forward to. I think we're gonna launch this spring. It's really, really close, but right now we call ourselves Co-Labyrinth, and so we want to go on a labyrinth tour and play our music in labyrinths all over the world. Would be so fun.
Really,
but,
that's a fun dream. I love that name too, Co-Labyrinth. You know, it's like
right.
There's so much poetry in that made up word right there.
Yeah,
collaboration. There's a labyrinth. You know, this like a maze. You're like trying to find your way, and we could go this way or that way anytime. I like the idea of a choose your own adventure story.
Yes,
like,
we grew up with that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Choose your own adventure.
You know, even musically, you can go down one route and be like, nah. Back to page 32. Yeah, let's get back into that groove.
Right. That's totally the way our music is.
Don't stop believing.
Believe it.
Journey music.
Journey.
Psych.
Oh.
Hey, watch out, guy. Right. Yeah. I love that. You know, I love playing music with people and making it up. It is fun to get certain songs and perform them with people. But, you know, there's something about fresh stuff that this elf loves. I just love, like, fresh music. And, like, I'm like you, like, my favorite collections of music that I listen to are actual people that I know. I'm super stoked. I want to shout out again to our boy Curtis, you know, and we've been jamming
Kalpataru
out
Tree.
This whole album here, you know, with Luminosophy. Kalpataru Tree. Tell us about Kalpataru Tree. You were telling me about where that name comes from too, since Curtis isn't with us.
In Tibetan Buddhism, it's the wish-fulfilling tree. So it's got the jewels in the tree, and just another one of those connections that we have to the tree beings, which is like found in every culture everywhere. Is that the mother trees? It's just so, yeah.
Yeah, no, on your Instagram account, I want to encourage people to check out her Instagram account, okay?
Okay.
There's one on there that I particularly like, and I made a note of, too, to mention, is the All Love Tree. And it's just, I love that name because it's like an olive tree, but it's spelled A-L-L, love tree. I love that. I mean, again, you know, I love words. Words are cute, but the image itself, I want you guys to go and check that out. It's beautiful. It's amazing. You can see these, you know, see why we need to keep encouraging Lindy Kehoe to create her art and music and keep being the amazing fairy that she is. And, you know, hopefully she or none of you out there will be the last wild witch.
I know. I think we're way beyond that now. I think it's definitely, we're remembering that we're wild, right? Remember? You're wild, elf.
You're wild.
You wild.
You're wild.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about the Pawpaw Fest, Athens County, and the Pawpaw trees, and about how like that wild tree that most people kind of even forgot about, and so it's so special that they're just remembered and celebrated. This like almost like tropical fruit that grows in Appalachia. That's super amazing. Just like should be known. So I hope we can meet up at the Pawpaw Festival, Andy. That would be so fun.
I would love that. 99% sure I'll be there. There's always that 1% that the sanitizer didn't work or something.
Yeah. The frankincense.
So it's on the. It's going to be the 26th anniversary of the Pawpaw Festival. Can you believe it's been going on that long, since 1998?
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Amazing. I think I was at the second one, 99. It was at like the fairgrounds somewhere, but it's still, where is it? It's still at that lake.
Lake Snowden, which is off
Snowden.
32 and 50, I believe. Oh. What's up, Puppies?
The UPS just came.
Dropping off package. Are those beavers ordering packages now?
Yeah. I just got a new wood chipper, and some diamond teeth. I'm gonna get some grills,
That's cool. I like those guys.
Yeah, I got to keep up around here, So yeah, I hope to come and bring some art to the roots, Appalachian roots, and celebrate the Pawpaw and all the people there that I love so much. The good old Athens County peeps that I just want to shout out to the Athens County peeps.
Down in Athens County, yeah. That's where I am. Tomorrow I might be in Amsterdam.
Did you just make that up?
No, it's like some old school. I want to say John Mullins, like, I don't know, like some old Ohio roots music where he's singing about Athens County. That one comes through a lot when I think of that area, It's special little place in the world for sure. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing you guys all down there. Lindy and I should be down there putting together some good serendipitous stuff and having a fun time, Paw and Paw. I mean, I got so many things I want to Paw. Like, Paw is are definitely a wonderful microphone tester, if you're ever trying to test for like pop, it's like Papa Paw expert on and try them out. Paw experts, they make also, it's like, I think it is like a fairly common thing for them to be microphone testers for large events as well. They get up in between the bands and, they'll just get up there and talk about paws. I think that should be spread everywhere. They're some of the best, if they have a background in auctioneering skills. I mean, and you're trying to get them to get a lot of information out really fast, that's really good too. And especially if they are kids that played with micro machines, but maybe I've been tell. Whoa. So.
All right. Yeah. This is for Chris Schmiel, the Pawpaw King. He'd love this.
We love
for sure.
We love this guy. Believe it or not, like he grew up in the same neighborhood that I grew up in, down Finneytown, Winton Woods in Cincinnati area, and went over to Athens and fell in love, with the whole place and the thing, and he's talk about commissioning. So
yeah, well, we planted some seeds and hope to see you at the Pawpaw, and just so stoked for the people that are doing good stuff like yourself and Chris Schmiel and all the people that are celebrating magical fruits all over the world.
So before we let you go, we'd love to hear, we've gotten to hear about the beaver that live on the land next to you. I know we got a bunch of Wake the Farm Up, people that want to hear a little bit, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your homestead and, what that is like, a little adventure has been like for you.
Yeah, it's been so serendipitous in a way. 16 years ago, I came to Southern Oregon to put on an event called the New Moon Salon, which was like a WeMoon artist exhibition with amazing medicine musicians like Sasha Rose and Windsong and Rainbow Music Elders. And it was pretty amazing. And there I met, it was like love at first sight. I met my soulmate, who is my husband, Ryan, and he lived here on the Rogue River. And so, yeah, we fell in love, and it just so happened that right across from us is the salmon ceremony site. It's a very special place that the First Nations people would come and have their salmon ceremony. And so Grandma Eggie, who is now in spirit world, but she was the eldest of the 13 indigenous grandmothers, which was a prophecy that 13 grandmothers from around the world of different tribes, basically medicine women, would come together and fulfill a prophecy to heal the earth. And this happened in 2005, I believe, somewhere around there. The grandmothers all got brought together, and Grandma Aggie, whose name is Grandmother Agnes Baker Pilgrim, was the chairwoman. She was the eldest of the grandmothers, and her people are from Southern Oregon and this area, and the Tacoma people. And so when there was a Trail of Tears that happened here over 150 years ago, and so they left this area, and then she was the one to find where that sacred salmon ceremony site was. She had a picture of her father sitting on the story chair.
Wow.
That was in the Smithsonian. And so a year before coming here, she brought the salmon ceremony back. So across the street, there was this beautiful, beautiful, powerful gathering where they would honor the salmon. There's a huge salmon run. And so they said that the salmon ceremony happened for 10,000 years. And so she returned it. So it was this huge celebration. So the first time it was the second time coming out here.
The last wild witch, you know what I'm saying?
Spend time with Ryan. I met Grandma. She was across the street, and it was really special to meet her because I had known about the 13 indigenous grandmothers from Ohio. We had a book about them, so it was like, wow, like meeting someone like the Dalai Lama, basically. And so we were so fortunate to be able to host Grandma and her family during her ceremonies that she had for that decade of time. And so I was really very, very grateful to get to know her and her family and just serve however we could. And so, yeah, she passed 2019, but she's got an incredibly powerful, beautiful family, many generations. And so this area is just really special. So I was talking about the eagles before, and like the eagles would come during the ceremony. And there was this one memory of an eagle like holding the salmon bones after the ceremony had happened, sitting up in the tree, and just seeing that, being on land, stewarding land that has living ancestors from thousands and thousands of years of connection is something that I will never, ever, ever take for granted. We're so grateful every day to be able to be here and have the connection to Grandma and her family, and this place that is so special where Grandma actually was a huge part of the removal of the dams. And so now the Rogue River runs free. All the dams have been removed. And yeah, so the salmon population has returned. It's returning.
The beaver
And,
can do their things, make cool dams.
Yeah, it's just so that's a little something. So now, my husband's parents, like, we have a little village here, so they have little spots on the land, and we got our little garden, and yeah, just really grateful to be able to create here and be here, and give thanks every day to have a place to do our work.
And create and interact and connect in the way you do. I'm so grateful that you have that place.
Yeah, I hope that you can come visit sometime, Elf.
I'd love that. It's been a while since I've been in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm really into moss these days, and a lot of my memory of the Pacific Northwest has a lot of moss in it. So it's like, I don't know, it's just like one of those things, a guy's got to go to look at moss.
Right? Well, like the redwoods, coastal redwoods, and the moss and the ferns are so beautiful.
Yeah, the big sword ferns. So unreal to walk through when you don't walk through. I love that. It's like a whimsical thing for me to throw myself into another ecosystem just to walk around and be amongst different elementals, really. It's because there's like different places and there's different elementals coming from different environments and soils and rocks and all the different things, and it's just what that can do to me anyway is when I go to it, it really helps me open those senses up. And then when I come back to my homestead, it's amazing how that connection, kind of like squirrels in real quick in a different pivot, like a different way of like feeling or looking at how this one certain tree might have been talking to me. Like all of a sudden, like I understand what it's saying a little bit better all of a sudden, because it's like an old friend. It's like wanting to take the time to really communicate to me. And sometimes a lot of plants can carry past trauma for a person too. If you're into plants like me, like certain plants might make you think of certain things, and certain things might take you to certain places that you need to process. And it's like nice to pop out and then pop back into your ecosystem and, kind of have a reset on some of those connections as you process and, rebuild those connections to different plants and elementals that are out there and their relation with you. I just got deep here. I was trying to wrap up our hour. I love talking with you. Like, I feel like I can go into certain parts of what I see and observe and feel in this adventure, of figuring out the puzzle of being a living creature on this earth together with everybody. And, there's like certain aspects of it that, being able to talk about the elementals, like, helps you feel and observe them, and like you said about your land, not take them for granted, not take the ancestors for granted, and the people that were first here and the elementals that were here. There's elementals that are changing as our environments change, and new elementals are born and created from, so it's like even these mastodons that roamed North America, like there's elementals of them here still.
Yeah, actually, I've got a piece of fossilized mammoth bone that I just I had in my pocket on my walk this morning that my magical friend Noah gave me. And it's just like, how old is this bone of the ancient elephant, and that we can actually carry it and hold it. And yeah, it's just so rad to bring back the elephant vibe.
Yeah, I feel like this episode was brought to us by elephants, beavers, and
Papas.
Papas, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Hey, everybody, let's give a round of applause for Lindy Kehoe. And like, is there anything else you want to share before we go float into our journeys of life?
Just so grateful every day. Just so grateful, but just grateful to be able to express and communicate and share, and just never take that for granted either. The gift of speech and expression through art, music, and conversation. And so thank you so much for asking me to express here on your special podcast and being a part of just amazing humans that you weave together. And so grateful, Andy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you so much. Farm up. Wake the farm up.
You guys are
Yeah.
crazy. You're crazy. We love you. We love you, Lindy. We love you, Elf.
Aw.
Thanks for doing this stuff.
Yeah, you know it.
Love you guys, all you elves.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm down here at the pond. I'm gonna drop some trees and dam some shit.
Noise.
Oh, I gotta go.
Okay, cool.
We did it for like years and never get bored. It's that good.
Yeah, just years and years. I've only gotten really into the luminosophy cut so far, this week since I've been, connected with this. And yeah, I think it's really cool. We got to connect about Curtis on the episode a couple of times here. And I'm definitely going to explore hours and hours of Kalpataru Tree.
We had some good shout outs. That felt good.